This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 24th day of October in the year 2018. Here's what we're tracking tonight. 2 weeks after reaching an agreement on increased salaries and benefits for the nation's teachers, the Education Ministry and the Guyana Teachers Union signed off on the agreement this afternoon. As stated previously, the agreement will see teachers getting a 12% increase in their salaries for 2016 and an 8% increase for 2018. They had already received an 8% increase for 2017. The agreement also covers several benefits. 100 duty-free concessions for vehicles will be made available for qualifying head teachers, deputy head teachers, and senior mistresses and masters, along with heads of department. For the head teachers and deputies, they will have to have 3 years remaining on their appointment, while for the others, they will have to be serving in the position for 6 years. The agreement will also see teachers who have to serve in the hinterland region being provided with air transportation costs in and out of those regions every term. Clothing allowances will remain at $8,000 per annum. Increases will be considered in line with other increases for the wider public service. Scholarships will also be made available annually to 30 teachers. Chief Education Officer Marcel Hudson welcomed the agreement and explained that it is the result of the two sides meeting at the table and coming up with cohesive agreements.
I think today is symbolic that we will continue to do well as a team. This ministry has always fostered the whole idea of team spirit, and we recognize that if we're divided, we cannot impact the nation's children. And we're about transformation, we're about change. And the only way that could happen is if all of us move forward with one agenda, with one voice, and with one purpose. And I believe today is symbolic of that.
The Chief Education Officer also said that the ministry is looking forward to developing its relationship with the Guyana Teachers Union and working closer with the union to ensure more improvements for the nation's teachers.
We intend to have a working relationship with all our stakeholders, all our partners, and we consider the union to be an integral part of what we do at the Ministry of Education. I do not believe we could function effectively without the union and their input. And so today I'm happy that we have come so far as a team, and I believe the time is opportune now for us to seriously work together for the benefit of our children in this country, and that is moving education forward.
GTU President Mark Light said although the union did not get all of what it was looking for, it is still pleased with the agreement and looks forward to the negotiations for next year.
We recognize that as a union, there are several things that we would have requested that were not granted, but nonetheless, we believe that it's a work in progress to go forward. We look forward to a new agreement in the new phase in 2019 that we can have more benefits given to our teachers.
Back in September, teachers stayed out of the classrooms during strike action that forced the two sides to several meetings that culminated when the arbitration process was set to begin. President David Granger intervened in the matter and got the two sides back to the negotiating table when it appeared as though the process was falling apart. More news coming up in just a moment.
This Christmas, get a loan for your dream car with an extended repayment term. Spruce up your home with that renovation you always wanted and take advantage of low or no down payment. Get new appliances so you can cook up a storm. You'll get same-day approval. Plus, you can win a getaway to a destination of your choice. Visit RepublicGuyana.com today to find out how.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Get ready to ride it, ready to ride it, ride the way. Open up the new vibe, drink up the boldness inside. Radical and fresh and wild, catch the wave now. Ride bold, ride fresh, instruction, perfection. Way better, way better, way better, way.
Ride the new wave of excitement sweeping Guyana. Wave Pale Ale, a premium, full-bodied, strong, and refreshing alcoholic brew, crafted to perfection for a bold, young, radical you. Don't settle for anything less. Catch a Wave Pale Ale and ride it today.
Wave Pale Ale.
Crafted to perfection.
Welcome back. We turn now to the world of politics. The Alliance for Change today said it had no plans to use the courts to challenge anything that it might have concerns about with the local government elections, because that would be a tactic to delay the elections and to question local democracy. AFC Region 4 District Chairman Michael Leonard told a media conference today that his party is confident of doing well at the upcoming local government elections and is not afraid of the attacks coming from the PPP. Yesterday, High Court Judge Narendra Singh dismissed a PPP challenge to one of the AFC nomination lists for the elections. The AFC today welcomed the judge's ruling, saying it was not unexpected.
It is clear that the PPP is gravely afraid of being resoundingly defeated in the 2018 local government elections and also in the 2020 general elections. The recent court actions are geared to deter and dissuade competition and delay elections. The PPP hates local democracy and self-government. The evidence is over 2 decades at the helm of government and only holding a single LGE, with none being held during the 12 years of the Barajagdeo presidency. This denial of constitutionally guaranteed elections is an unforgivable indictment on both the PPP and Mr. Barajagdeo. We will not go back to the era of no local government elections. The Alliance for Change remains open to public debates. We believe it is imperative that the citizens of Guyana have an opportunity to interrogate persons wishing to be stewards of their resources at the various municipalities and NDCs.
Mr. Leonard said his party will continue to run a clean campaign. According to the AFC executive member, the party has told its candidates across the country to remain focused on the issues.
Do we make this local government elections about challenging GCOM and challenging the local democratic system? No. We recognize that a large part of the issues come directly from the part of the PPP. A scared cat back against a wall, lashing out. So we're not going to turn our attention to GCOM and try to dismantle the local government system because one party in the system is creating a lot of flux and problems. So that's why we don't go and we're not launching 20 legal cases and so on, because we don't want to bring the local democratic system into disrepute. The local democratic system is working very well and can work very well. But we need all parties to play by the rules. So to be clear, we didn't pull out of any local area authority.
In a statement last evening, the opposition PPP said it is disappointed with the judge's ruling in the matter. The party maintains that a number of persons who nominated AFC candidates for the elections were tricked into doing so. The party has not said whether it intends to appeal the ruling. Local government elections will take place on the 12th of November. The Minister of Finance, Winston Jordan, this afternoon confirmed that the ministry has been able to get the problems that affected on-time salary payments for some discipline services members sorted, and salaries will be paid before the end of this week. Earlier today, the ministry explained that the Public Security Ministry had made some incorrect filings in the salary request, and that triggered a number of problems that had to be corrected. The Public Security Ministry had sent out a memo to a number of agencies that fall under its umbrella, informing them of the delays in payment of salaries. The Finance Ministry explained that its staffers had to work around the clock to sort out the issues, and once the issues were sorted, the salaries were dispatched to the banks for transfers to the affected employees. The Guyana Forensic Lab, the Guyana Prison Service, the Guyana Fire Service, the National Anti-Narcotics Agency, the Juvenile Holding Center, the Police Complaints Authority, and the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit were the agencies affected. Turning now to the oil and gas sector, when the oil industry takes off here in Guyana, the country could benefit from as much as $40 billion in oil revenue in less than 30 years. But that's dependent on oil prices. That estimation was revealed today by Andrew Bura, who is an international consultant with the Natural Resource Governance Institute.
There's a lot of uncertainty around this. Depends if Liza 2 starts production as expected, depends if other fields open up, and estimates vary wildly, and I'll explain why they vary wildly. They range between $7 billion US going to the government and $40 billion over the next 30 years. That's a huge difference. Which means, and if you know something about sort of how petroleum revenues work, essentially you have when they start production, you have a quick increase in oil revenues over a few years, and then you peak, and then those revenues slowly decline. So the peak production depends on when Liza 2 comes online.
The consultant also explained to journalists at the Press Association's lunchtime lecture that Guyana needs to start serious preparations for the changes that the industry will bring. The expert said many countries invest their oil revenues based on the needs of those countries, and he hopes Guyana does the same. Guyana is set to see first oil in 2020. And finally tonight in the courts, a 53-year-old man, Dion Aaron, was today found guilty of raping a 3-year-old child. A 12-member jury returned the guilty verdict this afternoon after deliberating on the matter for just over 2 hours. The man was convicted of raping the toddler between the 1st of March and the 20th of October 2016 at their Friendship Squatting Area home. Just after the verdict was handed down, the lawyer for the accused requested that the probation report be provided before sentencing. The trial judge agreed, and sentencing will now take place in 2 weeks' time. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. Gordon Mosley reporting.